Hi, I'm Matt from World of Ukes with a video here to look at some of the things that are coming up in 2023 at the North of England's specialist ukulele store. I don't think it hurts at all to let people know what's coming up and any exciting things and changes that are afoot. But actually I think this video might be as much for me as for anyone else. In fact, it definitely is. I thought if I made some New Year's resolutions, some changes I want to make, and I recorded them, then hopefully I might stick to those changes, because some of the things I'm going to talk about I've talked about before and not exactly acted on. So this is me holding myself to account. Now I know it's not necessary for me to do this video, and yes, I am simply a man who sells ukuleles, and you might have bought one from me before, or you might be considering buying one again. But getting deep and personal into the whys and wherefores of my business is not necessarily of interest for everyone. But one thing about my business, it's a one-man business, and the biggest resource that I have is just me. So this is just an opportunity to talk about the business and where it's going, and perhaps offer a bit more information about the personal service I offer, and also as I said, it's that desire for me to make a few changes in many ways to make sure that I don't burn myself out, because not saying that without being big-headed, I've got to look after myself, because I am my business's biggest asset. That's it's just the way it is when you're a one-man operation. So let's have a look at some of the things coming up and some of the changes happening here at World of Ukes in the new year ahead. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling the magic here, but just below the camera is a piece of paper with some notes I've written on, so I don't forget what to talk about. And the first thing that's on there says, "Stop selling things if they cause too much work." Now, in between Christmas and New Year, I was trying to keep on top of things here, and just make sure I didn't get a backlog. Now, I know most people don't expect things to be sent out in between Christmas and New Year particularly, and that was certainly the case, so people weren't chasing me up, but I just wanted to keep on top. So as orders came in, I didn't sit at home eating a mince pie by the Christmas tree thinking, how am I going to manage when I get back? So I like to keep on top of things. So during that process, I'd pop in. I didn't keep regular hours, but I did come in to try and keep on top of things. So I'd think, well, I'm going to pop in this afternoon for a few hours and just do some setup work and make sure those ukes are ready to pack up as soon as I can get them sent out. But there were one or two products that I had ordered and I worked on, and they would take up most of the time I'd allotted for myself. So I might think, I'm going to come in this afternoon, I'm going to do 8 different ukuleles, and I'll get stuck on one. And going back to the me being a resource for the company, my time is stretched, because I've got to do pretty much everything. So I'm going to look carefully at things that are too time consuming to make it worthwhile. Now, I don't like I don't like sending things out which cause me a lot of effort in the setup process. But there are certain ones which I have, particular brands, particular products that I've sold, perhaps because I can make them better than they come to me, and because they're in demand. So it's been tempting to think, well, I'll just get those again because they always sell, and now I'm going to have to stop doing that to a degree. So there will be some lines that I'm going to stop doing. It's not to say that they're not good, and if you go to a different specialist, for example, if some ukulele stores stock them, that's great. Still go ahead and buy them if you want them. But they're things that for me, it's just taking up too much time with certain models I can't justify because it's holding me back from other things. So I'm going to be a bit more ruthless. That temptation is always, well, a sale's a sale. If I have to work at it, but by the time with some things, I look at how much time I've spent. Has it been worthwhile actually selling it in the when you look at my hourly rate for how much work I've had to do, is it actually worth doing? So I'm going to clear out a few lines. I'll be doing that at a discount, but I don't want to spark a price war. I don't want to take anyone else's margins away by trying to compete with my prices. So and I'm not talking loads and loads of things. But I will be offering some discount codes on the World of Ukes Facebook page over the coming weeks as I look to clear out some lines which I just find don't work for me in terms of the reward for the time put in. I don't. Again, I'm not saying that they're not good, and if you want one, you should still want one, but as long as you get it from the right place. Now, I don't have a team of people who I can delegate these things to, and nor do I want one. I think the strength of World of Ukes is if you order it, if you ring, you'll speak to me. If you email, you'll get a reply from me. When you've placed an order, it's me who gets the instrument out. It's me who puts your low G on if you want one, or your strap buttons. It's me who lowers the action, checks everything, adjusts the nut. I want to keep that the way it is. So as a result, I'm going to be a bit more ruthless. So look out on the World of Ukes Facebook page for those discounts as I look to make a bit more sense of the products that I stock. The next point is about new products, and there will be new products coming. There'll be many that I don't know about yet, but there'll be some which I do know about, and a couple with brands that I really know and trust and have worked well with for a long time, and they tend to be things that are both really good quality, but also when they come to me, they are they're good to go, or good to go with checks, or good to go with adjustments which are uncomfortable doing because I've done them so many times and I know exactly those brands and those instruments and what needs doing. I'm talking about two personal favourites, Miller and a Nui Nui. When I get an Nui Nui, I always have to lower the action. I think they send them a little bit high, but I could do so and get it just right very quickly. Well, not in 2 seconds, but I know what to do. I know how low I can go, and I know it's not going to cause me any problems. So Miller, they is pretty much it must be the best brand I've ever come across in terms of how well they get things set up from the factory. Sometimes, when I'm advertising a new Miller product and I put the little graphic that goes on every ukulele that I sell saying that the setup is included in the cost, I do feel a bit of a fraud putting that on a Miller, because quite often, if anything, there might be a tiny adjustment to the nut and checking everything over, but they're for me a model of what ukulele companies should do, because they know how to make ukuleles. They it shouldn't be a jump then to get them playing perfectly before they're sent out, and they're a model for how ukulele companies should be. I think that they should spend as much time getting things ready to go as they do making beautiful instruments. So look out for more Nui Nui and Miller in particular. There'll be lots of others too, and particularly the baritone size could have a good year in 2023 from these two companies. I know that the Moonbird, I presume it will be called the UB200 Moonbird. That's going to come out in baritone hopefully this year, and Miller have been working on baritones throughout 2022, so I'm hoping to see those as well. So of course, look out for new products. You can do that. I'll add videos to the YouTube channel and put posts on Facebook about new stuff as well. or if you want to sit pressing F5 and refreshing your screen every hour, you're bound to strike lucky and see some new things coming up from time to time. Looking at my list here, the next thing says to look after myself, and now it's hopefully not seen as a selfish thing, but more just to keep myself going, keep myself fit and healthy and active, so that I can continue to offer a good service and not have any interruption in service. I have had a pretty manic festive season, and I've been talking a lot to my best friend who sadly has incurable cancer, same age as me. We've known each other for 28 years. I love him dearly, talk to him every day, have done for nearly 3 decades. A couple of years ago he had a heart attack, and now he has this really big challenge ahead of him. And anyway, Steve was saying, what have you been up to? And I'll be telling him day by day, I'm going here, I'm doing this, I've got this work, I'm going to pop into work, I'm going to do that. And he was telling me that, I think you need to look at what you're doing, and because I'm worried about you. And I thought, given his situation, it's very kind of him to be worried about me and thinking about me when you consider what he's up against. But it did make me think, if he's saying that in his position, then there's maybe something. There's definitely something there. So I'm going to look to try and scale things back a little bit. I'll still be here. I'll still be doing most of the things I'll be doing, but there are certain things. For example, like I've already mentioned, cutting out those lines which cause me too much delay in my process. So I'm going to be doing that. I hope to then free up some time to do some more marketing, some more videos, demos of some lines which I like but don't sell very well. I've got quite a few of those. And it's often because I haven't made the effort is perhaps the wrong word, but because I've got nice pictures, descriptions, sometimes videos, but there are some things which are real favourites of mine which I don't really get across to people. I think how good they are. An example would be Breedlove tenor ukuleles made from solid myrtle. I've had those for a couple of years. And when they come in, they take a long time to go, and I just, I don't do anything to promote them particularly, and then I'll sell one, and then because they've sold, I'll instantly think, I'll just get some more, and then they stick around again. Now, what would be better for me would be to make the effort to promote them a bit more, to do some demos with different strings, because I think they need them, to show the potential that those instruments can have. And then once I put that effort in, if they're not going to work out for me, then I'll have to make the decision that they're just not catching people's imagination. But if they are, if I can get those instruments moving, great, and if not, then I'll have to think about whether I stock them in the future. And there's lots like this, so I want to give it a go at making people realise how good they can be. And if I don't get that across, if people still don't want to buy them, then cut them out, because I hold a lot of stock of things which I think are great, but perhaps I haven't told people enough how good they are, and they stick around, or perhaps people just don't want them. So at least giving myself the opportunity to find out which of those options it is would be a good thing for me to do this year. So that's what I'm trying to get across is I work too many hours, and I tend to think, I can work all day, every day, 7 days a week, and at some point that's going to have to, it's going to cause me a problem. I've got my daughter's going to be 18 this year and going off to university in September, so I need to make some time before she goes away to spend some time with more time with her. And Steve, who I mentioned, he starts his chemotherapy this week, so I'm going to go down and spend some time with him at the end of that to try and help do whatever I can to be a support. So I do, and that's going to be ongoing throughout the year. So I am going to try and balance work, making sure I give the best possible service, which I'm really passionate about. I hate to let people down, but I just need to balance that by making sure that I've got a workload that I can manage, so I don't get in the situation where I get backlogs. Touch wood, I've been good so far, but I just need to make sure that that continues in the future. The next point is about new brands, new ukulele lines that I want to find. Now, I have no definite plans about what these are, or even if they exist, but I'm certainly going to be on the hunt for more unique, more interesting and quality brands, probably towards the higher end, because I've noticed in the last quarter of 2022 that my how busy I am is it's started to become dependent on prices elsewhere. I've had a number of years where I haven't really had to. I've never done price matching, for example, and I don't really look at competitors and think, oh, they're selling it at that, so I need to lower my price, because it just gets into a spiral, and that company then looks at your price and lowers it. I've seen that too many times to know that it just doesn't work, because crude though it may seem, I've got to make a profit, as does every company. That's otherwise, there's no point in doing it. And I'm not looking to be rich, but I need to keep myself going and provide for my family, that sort of thing. So, but I have noticed in the last quarter, if there's promotions elsewhere, then my orders can go down, and so I'm either crazy busy or fairly quiet. So I need to look to find things which are perhaps a bit more unique, or perhaps I can do some sort of customization to, that find niches elsewhere that perhaps just I do, or I do alongside a limited number of other companies. So yeah, I will be on the hunt for some new things as yet to be decided and discovered, but I'll certainly be looking to expand my range. Having just said I'm trying to contract it, but to find, to replace some things with new products. So I'll be getting my eyes on various Google searches as I try and find some more interesting things to come in the year ahead. Just a quick word now about events. Now, I've done with my friend Andy and we've done a number of ukulele events, often residential events, all sorts of things over the years, and it's been a little bit quieter on that in the last year. Obviously there was the pandemic, and then we brought back certainly one which might be familiar, the Big House in the Country, although it moved to the city when the hotel we used in the country stopped doing business over COVID. So we brought that back, but I have the financial commitments in place to run these events, but that one sadly didn't make a profit. It made not a devastating loss, but it ran to close to £3,000 lost when it was very busy, but it wasn't full. So the difference between operating at 80% and 100% capacity caused me a bit of a hit. I've been a bit reluctant to press ahead with those plans for another similar or identical event. But I'm certainly, that door isn't closed. They've been good in the past. They're very popular. People ask me all the time, are you going to bring back Big House? So I'll be looking for a venue which can accommodate it. They used to be in this hotel was a bit like the hotel in The Shining, but like I don't if you've ever seen that film, without the without the murderous rampaging Jack Nicholson, I hasten to add, but it was that sort of 70s 80s decor, and a great big rambling place, but it was in the middle of nowhere, Gilsland, in the near Hadrian's Wall, and just fun. It was a little bit tired around the edges, but such a friendly, sort of all in one place. It was people loved it. I loved it. I can't quite put my finger on why, but when that went, we moved the event to another location, which was good, but just didn't have the same charm. So I'm looking to find, Andy and I will search for where we can do that again. So it's not gone, but I've got to be a bit careful to make sure that these events wipe their face and don't lose money. But on that score, looking to be a bit more perhaps compact with these residential events. I haven't actually even spoken to Andy about this, so Andy, if you're listening, here's a plan. I'd quite like to do something a bit like World of Ukes road shows with some other better name, where we take a venue in different parts of the UK, perhaps a smaller venue. I'm looking at one at the moment with 20 bedrooms in a place which has other accommodation nearby, so people can come along, and we'd look to have an event with about 80 to 100 people there, who would come along, and there'd be a bit more focus on learning technique and workshops, as well as fun things and things to listen to. So these sort of roadshow ideas would be something that I really want to get into and get off the ground. So if you know of a venue, or you think you're in an area which would support a small relatively compact residential event which would draw in people who perhaps local as well, not necessarily to stay, but to come along and enjoy the activities, then do let me know. The particular pilot for this we're looking at doing in Scotland, and that came as a result of a man who was attending another event who said I know this place, it's really good, they do a lot of music events, why don't you get in touch? So you can, if you've got sort of insider knowledge, or think that wouldn't it be great to bring a bit of ukulele teaching and live performance and just good honest fun with singing and strumming together. If you've got something like that that place which you think would accommodate that, or you know of it, then do get in touch, because we could bring it to you. And we also really hope to bring back the Uke Express, which is the we've had up to 300 ukulele players on a chartered steam train, so we're hoping to bring that back as well. So things like this, they'll appear on the website, they'll appear on World of Ukes Facebook, but if you go to the worldofukes.co.uk website, there's a place right at the top, prominent, to pop your email in, and you'll get news of things like that as they come up into your inbox. I've mentioned a lot that everything comes through me, so there's a lot of time constraint on what I can do. So in this sense, it's a good thing, because you'll never get too many newsletters. It tends to be sort of once every 6 weeks or so, because it's me waiting until I've got enough news to share. So yeah, pop your email on that for event news going forward. The penultimate thing I want to mention is Ukes Magazine, which I produce, and my wife designs it, and this has been going since 2015, so it's coming up to 8 years old. I do think it's good. There's a surprise. Man who sells and produces magazines says it's good, but over the years it has changed. It's a lot more focused on things that you can learn. This is the latest issue 32. It's available from the website in paper form, and also if you go to your app store for Google or Apple, you'll find the Ukes Magazine app there where you can purchase and unlock copies. And I try and get about at least half of each magazine, which is 60 pages, about technique, tips, advice, even the interviews. Mark Gallagher's on the front here, and of course he talks about the things he's been getting up to. But the questions that are asked of him are aimed at teasing out, advice. He has memorised 700 songs, or 700 plus songs. So we want to get, not just hear that information, but find out how he gets that, how he commits things to memory, how he chooses songs, how he puts his own slant on things, or when to hold back and just do a faithful cover. So even the interviews with the people who appear on the front covers are aimed at trying to get some information across that could be useful. As well as that, there's technique guides, there's how to do things, how to maintain instruments. So that has really come on, if I say so myself, since the first issue, when I was feeling around in the dark a bit to see what people would like, and what people like is things that help them improve their play, and there's loads of that in here. So I need to grow the audience a bit. The online format has been growing. In the last year, the paper format, you might say that's understandable these days when people don't read so many physical things with the internet out there. But that's been growing, but very, very slowly. And I would love more people to read it. Sounds obvious again, because I sell it, but I do think it's a really good resource. I perhaps don't spend enough time getting that message out to people. I still come across people all the time who have no idea it exists. So I'm going to find ways to find a new audience to complement the existing audience for the magazine, and keep improving it, keep finding things that people want to get to grips with in their own ukulele journeys, which I can help with in the magazine, alongside many experts that we have writing and contributing to it. So that's Ukes Magazine, which I hope goes from strength to strength in the coming year. And just before I finish as well, I want to mention the band that I'm in, the League of Ukulele Gentlemen. We're just shortening that because it's hard to say, but we're going with just the League. And we've been in the recording studio over the last couple of months, from time to time, putting a new CD together, and that has been it's been a great process to get something down, because we're always so busy, all the people in the band, that while we'll go and play at festivals or do an event and do workshops, we're not so good at promoting ourselves and actually getting things down and recorded and having a record of what we've done, the songs we've written. So we realised last year that there were new songs that we were doing, and we kind of we were starting to drop them from our set, because we've got new ones coming along, and then you're thinking these songs which we are dropping have never actually been recorded, so we need to get on and get something done. Now again, because we're all always busy, we don't we're not so great at promoting ourselves and having a great online presence and web presence. But we've done enough performances around Europe now to know that on our day we can put on a good show, and we've had many appreciative audiences who've seen what we can do, but we need to work on getting that message out there and showing with this new album that we're good, and we should be on the bills that we get onto. But it's been a bit quieter over the last year, perhaps because we just haven't been able to put anything out there. We've still been working on things, still been doing shows, but we haven't maybe promoted ourselves as well as we would like. We have got some good things lined up for 2023. We've had our first confirmed overseas booking, so we're excited about that. But we'd like to just sort of cement get a record of these songs that we've done, and hopefully see a few more people out and about in the coming year. So that's it from me. That is my list of plans and resolutions, the things that come to me in the middle of the night, and I lie awake thinking about. I just thought perhaps if I get them down on video, then I'd have a better chance of following up on some of these actions. I'll still be selling instruments, I'll still be working away, setting them up, trying to get them as nice as possible, trying to provide a good service, trying to get back to people with the information that they ask for or recommendations. So there's nothing radical here, just a few adjustments to help me work better, to keep me going, and make sure that the service that I provide continues to be good. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you have a great year ahead. If you've bought ukuleles from me before, thank you for doing so. If you're considering it in the future, at least you know where it's coming from and who'll be sending it off. Have a fabulous 2023. Hope you've had a good Christmas, and thanks for listening as I plot my New Year's resolutions.
worldofukes.co.uk worldofukes.co.uk